This video is made for an adult audience. Hey brick fans, welcome back to the Brick Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked. I'm Jacob and today it's time to make some significant changes in my LEGO City. Yes, it's true, I've had a good think about stuff that's going on in my LEGO City, and I think I want to change some things because there's a building there that I don't think fits too well, even though I do like the exterior. I am, of course, talking about the casino, resort and hotel. But let's go over to Bakresville and I'll tell you about this new idea and project. Welcome back to Bakresville, everybody. This is the city as it looks presently. Last time I worked on this store right over here, the camera store, and I built an interior. Today I won't be focusing on interiors as much as the general look of the city. I have been thinking about this building right here quite a lot recently, and what I think is this building is simply going to be too big. If you take a look at the rest of my city, or the part that you can see from here at least, it's usually much smaller buildings and they have a lot more detail. This building right here is supposed to be Art Deco, which is, in some respects at least, a little less detail heavy than the style that I use over here. And when you compare this building with the buildings that I've got down here, for instance, or the buildings that's over here, you can really see that it's very, very big compared to those. Even the next largest building, which is the Teal Towers, is much smaller in width than this building right here. So it seems to me that this building needs to be smaller or even get removed entirely. Based in the fact that I don't think this building fits very well with the overall sort of expression of the city, and based on the fact that I have recently sort of gotten back into the aesthetics of Blade Runner and those kinds of cyberpunk movies, I was wondering if I could make this one base plate into a more Ninjago City style build. I have no experience in that regard, and I've been Googling a lot lately just to figure out what it's all about. So I do have some ideas on how to make this base plate much more interesting with many more smaller builds, which would fit my city much better, I think. The reason why I think a Ninjago style city build would fit much better is partly due to this, which is a very compact little city block where there's a lot of stuff going on, and just adding a couple more floors with some more industrial looking type of extensions and such would actually make this look a lot like the Ninjago style city. Secondly, I have been watching Soulbricks, which is a channel right here on YouTube, who has been making what he calls a city, which is very much inspired by the LEGO Ninjago styles. And I think that would fit perfectly in my city too. So thank you for that inspiration, Soulbricks. So without further ado, I'll remove this building, get it over to the build table and start demolishing it. What I'll be doing first is breaking the building down and sort of roughly sort some of all the parts that's here, just to have sort of an overlook of what's actually available in this building. Then I'll be showing you some of the things that I think I'll be implementing here and some of the pieces that I think I can be using in this type of build. But first of all, let's get to breaking this one down. There we go, that is the hotel, casino and resort broken down. Now, I've got a base plate that is ready to be built on, but as most of the Ninjago City, both the official sets and the mocks that I've seen, actually has water at the base, I am thinking that I want to use a blue base plate instead. So I have one of those right here now. I believe that in the official set they do something with darker and lighter plates beneath a transparent layer of tiles, which creates a depth effect beneath. I'm not sure I can actually attain that with what I've got for plates, but I may try to play with that effect. Besides that, I've collected a lot of different windows and such, which can be used to make this type of mock, I think. The main idea I sort of take from the Ninjago City look is sort of organized randomness, or sort of coherent incoherence, in the sense that there doesn't seem to be an overall plan in the individual smaller sort of shops and houses and such, but there is this overall idea of these 3 layers that sort of keeps the coherence going for the entire build. There are in fact some more or less official guidelines on how to make a Ninjago City modular building. Now, I'm not going to adhere to those specifically, but I will approach some of the things that said there. There are some definitions of the height of the lower layer and the next layer and such, and how they should sort of go together with the official Ninjago set. But that's not what I'm here to do exactly. I do own the Ninjago City proper, but I don't have any idea of adding this to that at any point. But the general look is interesting, and I will try to go with that. Further, I do have a hope that I can sort of employ a lot of different random pieces. I've been going through my molded piece selection, and I've found a lot of different stuff that I'd love to implement in some way in my this building, because I think it would add to the sort of randomized chaos that I think is Ninjago style. Other than that, I have plenty of printed pieces which might just help us out building something like this, and even add a lot of small details to what's going on. So yeah, that is what I've got going here. The thing I will start out with is making a bottom layer and sort of see if I can make a bridge on the side that will be towards the front of my city. We'll just have to see how it goes, but that is my initial idea. So here I go, trying to make the bottom layer of my Ninjago style mock. All right, here we have the bottom outline of the mock I am trying to make here, and you see here's an area where the water can actually flow out. I have an idea to make a waterfall down the front of my city, which would make sense for a bridge then to go across. I'm gonna fill all this out with some kind of 2x somethings, just to give it a little more stability, and then add a layer of plate just to give it all some stability. I'm also going to tile this with dark blue transparent tiles, just to give it this shimmering light effect. I may also add some greenery down here just to have something going on, which I think would be good. So yeah, that's the sort of basic gist of what's gonna go on right here. So here we go, that is the bottom layer plated. So now I'm ready to start the watering detail down here, because I think Ninjago, the Ninjago style is also about details, a lot of small details. Now I've already skipped a bit by not detailing this very much, but this is really not going to be very visible once I put this back in the city. I do also need some kind of stairs or something for the minifigures to move from the regular sidewalk level and up here, but I'll attend to that eventually. For now, this is where I'm at, and of course adding the water details is gonna already, this is gonna already liven up this build a lot. Alright, so I have now tiled all the water, and as you can see I've also added some of these water flowers, big leaves. There's usually plants on them as well. Maybe I can add plants. I believe they're usually white, so 1 or 2 white plants might be good. Just give me 1 second while I dig out a couple of white. There we go. Could be a white one here. Yeah, and a white one here. So that's pretty good, I think. And then there's something going on in the water right here. I don't know particularly what this is, but there seems to be some kind of unrest in the water down here, which I just think adds to the sense of mystery and a little thing you can discover if you take a closer look at this part of the city. So now I think I would be adding the bridge, but that's probably going to be some of the last part of this that I'm going to do today, because this takes a lot longer than I thought, and I want to be certain that I'm doing what I want to do, if you know what I mean, with this, before I just sort of soldier on and do everything just on a whim. So a bridge is what I'm going to do now. So here is an iteration of the bridge. I think this looks kind of neat, and it's certainly different from something else, from everything else that I've built in my city. I think some kind of roof would be good here, so the minifigures sort of walk through a tunneled area or something. I'm thinking a black roof would look good here. So that's what I'm gonna add, having slopes and such. And I think I'll be adding some tiles out here just to add some kind of detail. Maybe some of the cheese wedges instead, or maybe something for flowers would look good out here. Anyway, my logic is that the bottom layer is sort of the old layer. This is down where buildings have lasted forever, and the farther up we go, the newer it is. So the farther up we go, the more cyberpunk it will get. So down here is still sort of the old-fashioned area of this. So this sort of has a I don't know, traditional style to it. Seems sort of old-fashioned with the masonry and the arch and everything. A more modern bridge would probably just be straight over, but this one has a little more old-fashioned look to it. So that's why I've chosen that. And the small shops and residences that's going to be down here is going to be old-fashioned as well. So yeah, that's why this makes sense. And eventually I might end up turning it all this way instead, so we have the bridge at the back of the build, but I'm not completely sure about that yet. But this is definitely something that I like, and yeah, I'll be adding the last small details to this. Here we go. This is the bridge, and I think this turned out very unique and a little fun too. I had fun doing this roof, and the different slopes gives it a nice effect, I think. Maybe a little hard to see on camera, but there are different slopes here. And definitely this is gonna add some great ambience to my city, I think. And yeah, it's a great start to my little Ninjago City-esque project here. Of course, it's going to be much more detail and such going on in this build to actually satisfy my sort of Ninjago style, cyberpunk-esque feel. But I think this is a good start. And yeah, I'm wondering if maybe I do actually have the time to try to add in just one shop or residence or something back here, at least getting started on it. Yeah, I think I'll do that, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so this is the first outline of a small building down here in the sort of old part of the city thing. The city, as I think Solbricks calls his. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should continue this black line all the way. Yeah, that would probably be good. But the point is that if this gets farther down, this here will block. Of course, I could put in some shorter ones, which might look good too. So yeah, that's a small thing I would like to correct before I put this back into the city, because I am fast running out of time for today. So yeah, that's a small change that I'm gonna make, and then we'll put this back into the city and see how it all looks. There we go. That is those small details taken care of. Now I think it looks much better with this line continuing. Yeah, and I do like the style sort of in general. A more detailed roof would be interesting, but I also need something to place everything on top of when I want to do the next level. So I think something like this might be good to have here. I might need to add more supports down below this. It's only resting on 4 of these 1x1 round bricks at this point. So if I want to add a lot more weight on top of this, I'm sure I need more stability in the shape of more supports down here. But yeah, we'll see about that when we get to that part. For now, I think I'm done for today. I'll put this back into the city and we'll see how it looks. Here we are back in the city, and let's have a look how this fits in here. Ooh. All right. Yeah, okay. Definitely you need another angle to see this probably. All right, this is more or less as I expected. This looks weird. I do have a plan to make some kind of waterfall or something here instead of these storefronts right here. I'll have to move some of them around a bit and maybe take one of them out to actually make room for the waterfall, and then it probably will look a little more sort of natural. However, I do like the look of this, the bridge, and the sort of idea of this starting to take shape over here. I think this could actually look pretty good, but we'll have to see how everything develops. I am very excited to actually be starting this project because I do like the Ninjago sort of cyberpunk style. And here we go. This is a more panoramic shot, and you can sort of get a little better impression of what's going on here. What I do like is the fact that already I think this seems to fit this over here much better. The smaller scale is good for my city. Those smaller buildings here fit this much better than the older, bluer one I had right here. So I think this is good. I do think this will work great, especially the green one over here, which has this sort of futuristic style with this top roof with glass here, which I think looks pretty good and will fit very well with this Ninjago style cyberpunk-esque building that's going to be right here. The Ninjago style build is going to fit this part of the city very well too, I think, because this already has that raised look, which is also something that's going to be a part of the Ninjago City building. But for now, I realized that it is a little underwhelming and that it fits weirdly, to say the least, with the buildings that are directly underneath it. But in time, I'm sure this will look fine, and I'm really looking forward to get moving on this. I'm happy with the progress that I've made already, so I'll go back to me and I'll say thank you for watching. That was the beginning of a cyberpunk Ninjago style part of my city, and I think this is gonna fit well both with the overall look of my city, but also with my policy of only using pieces I have already, because that policy means that I rarely have a lot of bricks to build big buildings, and building something that consists of many smaller builds is going to be a lot easier to actually get done with the bricks that I have. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and I think it'll fit well with my city. But do you have any kind of suggestions for this? Maybe suggestions for what kind of shops or a residential building, maybe some kind of ideas for what looks would go well with this, please let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to consider all of them. But that's all for me today. I hope you'll comment, like and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you folks next time.